Hi friends, let's talk about April 2023 Visa Bulletin. There is a lot of confusion about it, and I will explain to you what's happening and why. It's very important to pay attention to the Visa Bulletin because it determines when you can file for adjustment of status or when you can receive immigrant visa. But mostly, it is important for those who are in the United States seeking to adjust status or receive a green card in the United States. For example, if you are in an employment category, if you're going to get your green card based on EB2 national interest waiver, EB1 person as extraordinary ability, or EB2, EB3 regular categories when an employer is sponsoring you, you need to know that as a rule, you have to stay in lawful non-immigrant status up to the point until you can file for adjustment of status. And here why it's so important to watch out for the Visa Bulletin, because when you can file for adjustment of status is determined by the Visa Bulletin that is published every month. And every month the dates are going to be slightly different. Sometimes it is showing that your category is current. It means that as soon as your petition is filed, your I-140 petition is filed for employment case, you can file adjustment of status case, meaning that you can file concurrently together both petitions. Very convenient, and you don't need to worry about falling out of status. But when there is a gap, when your category becomes not current, but rather you have to watch out for certain date to first become available for filing, then it becomes complicated. The current Visa Bulletin contains two sets of dates for filing and final action dates. And those dates are different. Why? I have no idea. But dates for filing are usually more current, fresher, not so different from today's date than final action dates. So that the law, the regulations, the government allows you some time in between, meaning that you can file the case today, but the final action will be later. It means that we will allow for you to file earlier than we actually going to consider your case, something like that. It's convenient because imagine there is a difference. Let's say the filing action date is April 1st, 2010. So you can file the case on April 1st, 2010, but the final action date is usually earlier in time, for example, January 1st, 2010. I took 2010 just so you know, as an example. So this is what's going on between the final dates, final action dates and filing dates. Now, here is a problem with April Visa Bulletin, April 2023 Visa Bulletin. Here we can see filing dates for family preference categories, especially F2A, spouses and children of permanent residents. Filing is allowed concurrently with I-130 petition for April 2023. But final action dates for April 2023 are much different. As you can see, for all the countries, it will be September 8, 2020. It means that the government estimates that your case for adjustment of status based on F2A category is going to be pending for about 2.5 years. But now let's look at the employment category. Look, if to go by the filing dates chart, you would have been able to file for your adjustment of status with a priority date of December 1st, 2022. But we take the second preference category, the most popular category. Those people who file for EB2 national interest waiver, for example, will be using that category. But the final action dates would be in July of 2022. But here is another catch. You cannot use for April 2023 filing dates for employment cases. In fact, every month the government says which chart to use, as if life is not already confusing. So, for example, for April, they're saying families will be able to use dates for filing chart. But for employment-based categories, you will have to use dates for final action. So unless you filed your EB2 national interest waiver in July of 2022, you cannot file for adjustment of status in April. So as you can see, as if the United States immigration law is not already complicated, some parts of it are even more complicated than others.